So for everybody who's joined us at this time, we actually have a little bit of a transition into some youth programming. And Randy and Mop will talk more about that later. But what we're going to do now is actually pretty exciting. So we have a Native Youth Olympics demonstration by Junior and John. And I'm going to transition over to them, and they'll explain to you what they're doing. And it's pretty wild.
Again, like she said, our name's Junior. I'm Junior. This is John. We're the Alaska Native Gamers here at the Heritage Center. These games that we'll be demonstrating have been done for thousands and thousands of years, but only been organized sport since 1961. Now, some of these games, they might have records. If they do, we'll let you know right after. You know, we want to impress you guys first before we get embarrassed. But my friend John here will start off with what's called the seal hop. This is a hunting technique that they do up north because a long time ago, you couldn't just go walk up to a seal because if you did, it'd most likely just run away from you. So this is what we would do to hunt for seals up north. Now, for John, he'll show you a couple different ways. This first way is what they do in elementary, and for the girls all the way throughout high school. He'll be in an upper push-up position with his hands flat, and this is a game done for distance. So when he's ready, he'll start hopping. And this is what it will look like. It might look a little bit awkward. That's just because we're guys, and this is usually what girls do, or elementary kids. Now for the boys, once they get into middle school and high school, this time he'll be in a lower push-up position, and he'll curl his hands to his first knuckle. That way it represents a flipper, and he'll start hopping when he's ready again. But this is one of the ways that we would go hunting for seal. It just made it easier for us to go hunt seals this way back then, because a long time ago, you know, we didn't have rifles, snow machines, stuff like that.
So the way that they do this game at the World Eskimo Indian Olympics is in a lower push-up position, like I just showed you, but instead of hopping on your first knuckle, you make a closed fist. So the first way that I showed you, that record is held at 171 feet, and that is actually held by a third grade girl. And the second way that I showed you, that record is held at 188 feet, and the knuckle hop record is held at 191 feet and 10 inches. So now we're gonna get into the kickstand. This next game is called the swing kick.
Now, anything that involves a kickstand, we are going to go for height this time. So these games are always done in competition. When we do this in competition, we have starting heights for the males and the females. The females will start a little bit lower than the males, but what John's going to do is get beneath the ball. He's going to use a small leather strap, wrap it underneath his legs, and then from there, wrap it over his head. And when he's ready, he's going to lift his body up with both his hands. And once he's ready and elevated, he'll swing up and kick the ball and maintain balance after. So something like that. But that was a good example of how not to do it. Now, that's how you normally, it look just like that. You swing up, you kick the ball. And after you kick, your feet cannot touch the floor or your butt at any point in time once you lift your body up. Now, traditionally, this game would be done without the strap, but there weren't a lot of people that would know how to do this without the strap, so we ended up putting a strap in competition, made it easier for a lot of people to do this game. And doing it without the strap is a lot harder than it is with the strap, but for this game, this was used for a core muscle workout. It's just one of those games that make you really tough, especially for your core muscles. Now, when we first start these games, we find them pretty fun, but you learn about muscles you didn't know about. So watching people do this game for the first time is really funny sometimes because if you're not used to doing this, you end up getting a cramp, and you can tell when a person gets a cramp, they end up taking the strap off really fast, and it's just really funny to watch. But we start off at our starting heights, and when we go in competition, we raise the ball in a 4-inch increment after everyone kicks the ball or makes it to the next round. But when we do these games in competition, you have about 3 tries at each height or distance, depending on the game. So it's kind of like baseball, 3 strikes and you're out. But you might notice John, he is taller than I am. There might be a height advantage for some games, but for some of these games, height only gets you so far. A lot of these have to do with your technique. Now, if you're short and you have good technique, you'll most likely outkick the taller people. But if you're a tall person and you have good technique, good luck to the shorter people. And if you can't tell already, for John, this is one of his favorite games. He is really good at it, and he makes it look easy every time. And again, he just goes higher and higher until he cannot kick any higher. Now, we are getting pretty close to the men's world record for this game. John, he's been getting really good at this game throughout the summer, so, maybe he might end up tying the record one day or even breaking it. Who knows? We'll find out eventually once these competitions open after COVID. But until then, we're going to wait until competition starts. He was really close. There we go. Now, in competition, that would count as his first try because his feet or butt did not touch the floor. You notice he swung up twice. In competition, they'd count that as one try. Because as long as you're elevated, you could swing up as many times as you like until you kick it, and they'll still count that as your first try. But once your feet touch the floor or your butt, then that's when they count it against you. Now, for the records for this game, for the women, they set theirs at a height of 4 feet 7 inches, and for the males, I think they set theirs at a height of 5 feet 3 inches. But that is the swing kick. Now, this next game that we'll get into real quick is called the one-hand reach. Now, for this one, John will lower the ball again because, we have our starting heights. But for this one, what John's going to do is get underneath the ball, place one of his elbows into his inner hip. From there, he's going to balance his whole body on that one arm. And when he is ready, he'll balance his whole body on that one arm. With his free hand, he'll reach up and touch the ball. So throughout the whole time, no other body part is touching the floor besides his base hand and his reaching hand. Pretty simple, right, guys? But just like every other event, we start off low and work our way up.
So here in Alaska, we have 3 main competitions. The first one is for elementary school students and is called the Junior Native Youth Olympics, or JNYO for short. And there are about 6 or 7 different games that they can qualify for and compete in. And these games are taught in schools along with cross country and wrestling, basketball, volleyball, any other sport you can think of. You can start whenever you want to, and you can also stop whenever you want to. So we have regional competitions throughout the state, and we also have a state competition held here in Anchorage. And the second main competition is called the Native Youth Olympics, or NYO, and there are 11 different games that You can pick from, at that competition,
So another main competition we do have here in Alaska is called the World Eskimo Indian Olympics. That's what we call WEO for short. That is held in Fairbanks about the third week of July. Pretty good. And they say you have to be at least a quarter Native or American Indian. I don't see why, because they don't do no blood checks. So if you guys want to say you're Native and compete, you know, you could just tell John he's your favorite nephew or favorite cousin, something like that. He'll vouch for you. He's pretty good at it. Go ahead. I'm out. But for that event, you pay the $30 fee, one-time fee to compete. And then from there, you can pick from 22 different events. You have to have 3 minimum. But it's up to you on like how many events you want to do. You could pick 5, you could pick 10. It's up to you on how many you want to pick. Pretty good. Must be nice to be tall. I guess that's what happens when you eat your vegetables. But at that competition, we did demonstrate some of them already. We do have a baby regalia contest. We have a dance contest. We have an eating contest. Eating contest is not what like everybody thinks about who can scarf as many hot dogs as they can in 1 minute. What we have is called the muktuk eating contest. And what muktuk is the skin and fat of a whale. And I could definitely tell you it's an acquired taste because I personally do not like it myself. But I'll eat it if an elder gives it to me. Other than that, I tried a small piece. I chewed on it for about 4 minutes and I was over it. So I just swallowed it real quick because, you know, it's rude if you spit it out. So usually when it comes to those kinds of things and elders hand out muktuk, I usually be like, well, you know, I got to go to the bathroom. I'll be right back because, you know, I don't want to be rude. But other than that, you know, if I get caught, I'll eat muktuk. But it's not my favorite. But I think we're done with this one. Now, the records for this game for the women, they set theirs at a height of 5 feet 2 inches. And for the men, they set theirs at a height of 5 feet 10 inches. Now, the guy who holds that record, his name is Bernard Clark. He comes from Wasilla. He's a good friend of ours. He stands about 6'1", 6'2", but his arm span is at least 6'10". So his arms are a lot longer than his body length. So he kind of has like monkey arms. You know, he's one of those guys who can scratch his knees without bending over. You know, I used to think it was a myth, but, you know, we seen him one day, told him to scratch his knees. He can actually scratch his knees without bending over. But that is the one-hand reach. Now, this next game that we'll do for you, John will get into right away, is called the Alaskan High Kick. Now, for this one, it's kind of like the last game, but this time you're reaching with your foot. Now, he's going to sit beneath the ball, place one hand behind his back as his base hand. With his free hand, grab his opposite foot. And with his free foot, he'll spring up and kick the ball. Just like that. And just like every other game, you start off low. But, you know, we're seasoned athletes, so this is pretty much like a warm-up start for us. But I'm just going to let John do this one himself. This is also one of his favorite games that he loves to do on his off time. He practices this one constantly. But what makes this game so hard is it's such an awkward motion. Not too many people are used to holding onto one foot and kicking with the other. But, you know, we work here at the Alaska Native Heritage Center, and we do this just about every single day, so this is pretty normal for us. Pretty good. But for this game and the last game, you know, it does help to be taller, but again, a lot of it has to do with your technique. Now, we're not the only people that do these games. You also have Russia, Scandinavia, Greenland, and some parts of Canada. So depending on like where you go for these games will determine what rules you have to abide by. Now here in Alaska, we love being complicated. I don't know why, but if you notice John's hand, when he places it down, he has this imaginary 180-degree line. So the side that he takes off from, he has to land on that same side. Now, if you go to Canada, they actually allow you to flip all the way over, but we're not Canadians, eh? So for John, if you notice, it is starting to get pretty high above his head. This is what we call going vertical, going from that seated position into a one-hand handstand. Now, there are not that many athletes that know how to do this throughout the world. There's probably only at least a little over 100 athletes that know how to do this. And out of those 100 athletes, there's probably only about 4 females that know how to do this. Now, with these games, they do get a little bit intimidating, especially if they're out of your comfort zone at certain heights. Sometimes your body isn't tough enough to hold you up, or you end up having like mental breakdown thinking you can't do it. With these games, you have to be very confident in what you're doing, and you have to believe in your body that you can do it. Because if you don't have that confidence, you know, you're not going to do it at all. There you go. Good job, John. But I think he is done with this one. The women's world record for this, they set theirs at a height of 6 feet, 11 inches by a girl named Autumn Ridley. She only stands about 5'5". And for the men's world record, they set theirs at a height of 8 feet, and the guy's name is Elijah Cabin Boy. He comes from Nome. And for him, he stands probably about 5'11", maybe 6 foot on a good day. But he did get really good at this event, and this is called the Alaskan High Kick. But this last couple games that we'll do for you real quick are pretty much everybody's favorite. Now, it's the crowd's favorite to watch, athlete's favorite to compete in. What John's going to do is he's going to get a running approach. These are our high kicking games. The first one he'll do is called the 2-foot high kick. Now, for athletes, they could get a running approach, or they could just stand there beneath the ball. When he's ready, he'll approach the ball, jump up, kick the ball with both his feet, and then stick his landing. Now, when you compete in competition, your feet have to be together. They can be off by a little bit or at least parallel. So it'll look just like that. The other ways of doing it, he'll show you once the ball starts getting higher. But for these games, these high kicking games, we're a signaling event because a long time ago, you know, we didn't have radios or cell phones. So this is what people would do to contact the village and let them know, like, hey, you know, you'd have your highest kicker go to the highest point. Depending on what style of kick he did, would let them know, like, if they caught a whale or not. So throwing both feet up in there, let the village know, you know, hey, we caught a whale, get the community together. And throwing one foot up in there, let the village know that, you know, that they didn't catch a whale. But nowadays, you just call your people and like, hey, we caught a whale, get your truck ready, you know. Let's pull in this whale. But John's going to stretch real quick. All right. And John's going to do one more height for you guys, just to amaze you guys, because you guys were such a good audience. But this will be the last kick, and it's called the 1-foot high kick. So it's the exact opposite. Instead of kicking with both your feet, you're going to kick with 1 foot. And I hope you guys enjoyed our performance because we enjoy doing this for you guys every single day. Just like that, that'll be our last kick. I hope you guys enjoyed our performance, and I hope you guys have a good day and stay safe and wear your masks. Thank you.